Hello and welcome back to the Candle Making Mama, where I make videos all about candle making in Australia using Australian made products. My name is Kate and I run two candle businesses now in New South Wales of Australia. And this video is long overdue. I had originally planned to go into 2024 filming a ton of Australian based content for other makers, and unfortunately, um, things got very intense in my life. I filmed the making video and I had filmed the testing the following week. I just hadn't got around to actually filming my thoughts and the burn test results and what I thought about this kit in general. So if you haven't checked out the previous video where I went through the kit and what came with it, go and do that. Now that it's been a good 4 months since I posted that video, Eroma, I believe, has actually released a whole bunch of new candle making kits. With a bunch of different vessels and I believe fragrances and so on. So I encourage you to go and have a look at what they've got on offer. If there's anything completely new and different that I've never tried, I'll be definitely ordering one and seeing what I think. I've got a few more kits that I need to work on that I haven't got around to doing. As I've moved, I've expanded and taken on a new business, and there's a whole lot just going on in my world at the moment. So now that that's all out of the way, I just wanted to say welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate and I'm glad you're here. So the kit that I am burn testing in this video is the Aroma's candle making kit, and it uses Denali wax. It uses HTP 83 wicks, which are a flat braid wick, and the fragrance oils were lotus flower, champagne and strawberries, and tropical coconut. Now, I like to test my candles as I'm going, kind of in a very structured routine, kind of same every time kind of way. And that is, I'll go 4 hours, 4 hours, and 8 hours, and then I'll interchange between 8 and 4 hours for the remainder of the candle to get the burn time, rate of consumption, and so on. But that's a little bit more than what I'm planning to go into this video. For the purposes of this video, what I did was I was looking at the way the vessel performed and the wicks performed in this combination. And so I only, for the purposes of this video, was paying attention to the wax performance. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to the actual hot and cold throw, as it had only been a week when I filmed this video. So what I would normally expect is a week to be a little bit too soon for the fragrance to fully mature and cure in the wax. So I paid attention to the cold throw, which was incredible with the lotus flower. It was very subtle with the coconut, and it was kind of in the middle when it came to the champagne and strawberries. The lotus flower was gorgeous, though. I was really impressed. And then, so that's all I'm really going to say about fragrance oil and the way the hot throw was. I've still got these candles, so I plan to retest them in the future, hopefully, where I can talk about the fragrance and how it's developed over time. So how, for this video, how I went about it was I put 4 hours down, 4 hours down, 8 hours down. So what you're going to see in this video is kind of how the wax and the wicks perform at those 4 hour marks, 2 hour marks. But yeah, so how it started out, they did quite well. They made it to probably about, I'd say, 5 millimeters to a centimeter around the edge for the initial burn. So this kind of depended, I found, on the lean of the wicks. So something I noticed with these wicks was that they didn't stay centered. So they weren't super rigid compared to other wicks I've used. they tend to get a bit of a lean as the wax melted around them, which freaked me out a little bit. Um, and I'm not talking about the way that the actual like flame sat. I'm talking about the actual way that the wick that wasn't burning was sitting. It kind of was tilted. And that's not to do with my placement or anything. It was just like it seemed the heat kind of concentrated around them and melted quite a bit around them and just kind of loosened them up a bit. And I'd never experienced that in my little journey. So as you can see, there's quite a little bit. It looks like it's the beginning of tunneling, to be honest. Um, but usually I allow for the first initial burn, probably not a centimeter. I would say like that 5 millimeter and under around the edges, because that, as you get to your second 4 hour burn, tends to melt down into your melt pool and introduce new wax to the melt pool, which like enhances the fragrance. I didn't notice any sooting with these wicks, and really, really minimal like mushrooming. I wouldn't even say any actually within the first. So you can just see there the tiniest little bits. Um, but yeah, a very, very clean burn. Really impressed with that. Um, but see, there you can see around the edges. Just checking the temperature there. These candles really did not get very hot at all. There was no, you touch them, there was no like need to pull away or anything. So I was really impressed by that. Here you can see just how much hang up you have there. So I would say for me, while it's slightly too early to tell, that does look quite thick around the edges in some parts there. And I'm wondering whether that was because of the way the wicks kind of tilted to one side. Like it seemed like they would bend away from one wall of the vessel, and then that wall behind it would kind of not get as much heat, obviously, because the flames bent the other way. And you can see here, I don't know if you could see it quite well at the beginning. I didn't get a very good shot, but the glass adhesion isn't like it's great all the way around, but like you can see that you've got like that slight bit of shrinkage where the soy is pulling away, which is normal, totally normal. Um, sorry, I didn't mean soy, where the wax is pulling away um, from the glass, which is just a characteristic of wax coming into contact with something that is foreign to it. But um, just for aesthetics, that's something that does happen with this candle. And taking into account that these were poured through summer, it wasn't especially cold, it wasn't especially hot. Um, but yeah. So you can see there that rim is quite thick. I think this is the 2 hour mark on the second 4 hour burn. And just there, I would say that this is at this point possibly starting to tunnel. They're really quite small flames with these ones as well. They're not like overly massive. No super, super high dancing flames. I was really happy with the way that they sat, they burned. Um, Definitely not overly hot. Um, and at this stage, definitely not overly fragrant. I'd say out of the three of them, that definitely the lotus flower, the hot throw was quite impressive for only 7 days. So here you can see, I think that this would be at about 4 hours of the second burn. And we're not getting any melted wax at the top of that ridge. If this was me testing the candles that I work with for my business, I would hope that all that had started to drip down into the melt pool at this point in the second 4 hour burn. See here, it is starting to kind of glisten a little bit. This must be more the 4 hour mark. That must have been the 3 hours. And our melt pool's starting to get a little bit deep. So I would kind of start to say at this point that maybe this could be slightly under wick because we are starting to get wasted product. And unless someone is going to sit there and burn a candle for 8 hours at a time, they're going to get to the end of this candle and there's going to be a decent amount hanging up on the sides, which is just kind of wasted product. See here, this is when it's cooled and it was quite a ridge around, and I would definitely say at that stage that that is tunneling. So now we're going in for the 8 hour burn and we've got all that tunneling. So I would expect that as we get through this burn, the heat is going to distribute all the way up to the top of the glass. And for the most part, this is all going to come back down. And you want to know how this is going to perform in a scenario where someone's left a candle burning without realizing. And you can see here, it is definitely starting to melt down. That's just glass there now. See if we can have a look around the other side of it. Yep, so it's definitely all started to catch up at this point. And we've got some mushrooming starting to happen at the end of our wick. So I would say at this point, if this is your 8 hour burn and you've still got that hang up there, that this might be slightly underwicked. It wasn't overly hot at all. But it did all catch up by the 8 hour burn. So if you were to make this product and sell it, assuming that your customer didn't light it for 8 hours at a time, they're just going to end up with a whole lot of wasted product around the edges. So at this point, it's really at your discretion how you educate your customers and how you enjoy burning candles. At this stage, I would say for what this kit is and what it provides, I would say it's a really, really great starter kit. It's a really, really great little kit to understand how these two materials work, this wick combination and the wax together. I I would say that the only problems that I really had with it at the beginning when it came to this kit was the fact that the fragrance oil wasn't measured in grams, because it was just I believe it was a 30 ml bottle from memory, to go between two candles. So it was two candles, 300 grams of wax, and 30 mils of fragrance oil. So that would be 15 mils. So it would really depend what the different weights are for those fragrance oils to see like what percentage you're working out for each one, because that obviously also plays into the whole mix when it comes to testing. But as far as something that's safe, I think for someone that's going into making candles and has no idea what they're doing, or for someone that is gifting this to someone else, I think this is a safe candle option to start out with. For me personally and my testing, I would want to play around with it a little bit to see if I can reach a full melt pool maybe by that second burn for the 4 hour mark, and not have all that hang up around there. But really, really impressed with the wax. Really, really liked the way that the reset was so smooth. Really like no sooting, no mushrooming with those wicks. And the glass really didn't get overly hot at all. It did start to get warm. Well, when I say warm, it did start to get to that point where it was a little bit not nice for that 8 hour burn, but I would expect that at that point. Um, and realistically, if you're selling candles and making candles, you want to be burning these candles for maximum 4 hours. So that should be what you're working with and also educating customers for. You don't necessarily want to be, maxing out your time frame for people using these. You want to allow the fragrance to permeate through the room within a 4 hour time frame, and also be burning that candle in a safe way within that period of time. But you also, as the maker, need to know, it's your due diligence to know how that candle performs under stress, because customers aren't going to listen. There's crazy people out there that light candles and go to sleep with them going. I hope that scares you enough to make sure that you're doing your testing. I know that I would lose sleep if I put something out there that I hadn't tested, because I would be scared that someone's house was going to catch on fire. So I hope that this has been a good video for you. I will hopefully do a follow up as far as fragrance, and how that worked down the track. I can't promise anything. My life is insanely busy, but I'm hoping to do some more videos as far as, setting up a business and what it takes in this industry, how to go about getting wholesale clients, so on and so forth. And yeah, I hope that this has been beautiful for you. Not beautiful. I hope that it's been educational, I guess, is the word I'll use. But I hope that you're having a lovely day, and I hope that this helps you in some way. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.